So I recognize some faces. Look, this time I got slides. So my name is Jess. I'm from SAP, product management. And this is the promised hands-on session. So I'm not sure if everyone, actually, who hasn't been in the technical talk, literally, before? Anyone new here? Okay, that's good. So before we get into the content, I want to do a quick check. Who has not seen this screen yet? Okay, very good. Because in order to complete the session, you are going to need a cloud platform trial account with SAP. And we put this in the session description, but I kind of expected that it's probably hard to spot, so there were some prerequisites. My colleagues here did bring a few USB sticks. So on those sticks, number one, there is the SDK that you will need to complete the exercises. And secondly, there are instructions in like PDF documents and on how to register with Cloud Platform, SAP Cloud Platform Trial. This is entirely free. It's just that registering and everything, and depending on how fit you are with your email passwords and whatever, it may take like 5 or 10 minutes, and 10 minutes out of 1 hour, 10 minutes is like 14-point-something% of the exercise time you're losing. So I would ask you to try and get an SAP Cloud Platform trial account as soon as possible, even while I'm explaining what we're going to do, and also enable mobile services. Guys, can you start distributing the USB stick? So just copy the SAP hands-on folder on the stick that's going to be given to you, and then you should be fine. Just get your account going in the meantime. I appreciate that. Thanks. Okay, so what are we going to do today anyway? We are going to create a simple application with the SAP Cloud Platform SDK for Android. The features that we're going to take a look at are number one, push enablement. That itself is not a very fancy feature, but I would like to show you how quickly you can sort of get a push round trip going without actually touching a single line of code, just to showcase the features that our tooling the features that our tooling is generating for you. And the second thing, something more exciting offline. I'm going to explain how that works in a second as well. The steps for this are essentially, number one, of course, you need mobile services set up, the SAP Cloud Platform mobile services set up. You need to enable the service in your account. In order to get a push key and everything, the API keys, you will need a Firebase account as well. The reason behind this is that we do not have a native push provider, but we are kind of abstracting over platforms. That is, we support Firebase push, we also support Apple push, and depending on the platform that you're targeting, you would need to configure this mobile services. Then we are simply going to create a project using our tooling. We're going to send the first push message and enable offline support. So let me just switch to a brief demo of this here on the simulator. Can you see this? No, you cannot. Okay, let's see. Let me just... Okay, is it mirroring again? No, it is not. Is it? Oh, yes, it is. Lovely. All right, so here's my simulator. Can you see that? I think so. And there is the app that we are going to generate here. It's a very simple, it's something that Sean Ginnivan also mentioned in his introduction today in the enterprise track, that we are generating a crude UI for you that allows you to explore the underlying data service that we're consuming to generate the application. So you can just take a look at this. It's a very simple enterprise purchasing data model, basically. So you have products here, for instance. You can take a look at those. They're PCs, they're flat screen monitors, and all sorts of other things. And the cool thing here is now that when I just kill this app and switch on the airplane mode, and if the demo gods decide to be kind to me today, we're still going to see the data. There we go. So the list of entities, of kinds of entities that are on our service are still there, and I can still see the product. So that one worked. So that's number one. This is the exercises are going to guide you through how to enable this. And secondly, you can also receive push messages On that client, that was the wrong browser. I apologize for that. So that is like, I just need to log in here. And I hope that, nope, thank you. Yes, there we go, there's my mobile services instance. I'm going to navigate real quick to my server-side configuration just to leverage our so-called push desk. That is a feature that allows me to send push notifications to clients. As you can see, there's a bunch of registrations for me during my tests. I'll just select all of those because why not? And hi, I am at, oops, droidCon is the message I'm going to send to my device. So we also have some features that allow you to target push messages to specific users or group of users, for instances. And as soon as I go back online, because receiving push messages in airplane mode does usually not work quite well, I would, receive a push message at my device. So enabling those demo flows is kind of what we're going to do to explore some SDK features. Before we get started, all of this is described for you to follow, hopefully in a very easy way. Slides. There we go. I would like to talk about how offline works in general and how we consume data and applications, because something that Sean also mentioned is OData. And I would, who has heard of OData before? Let's do this. One. Okay. Better than none. OData is an HTTP-based RESTful protocol. That's pretty much what it is. So it is just one HTTP-based web service standard, if you will. I don't want to go too deep into details of all the features it has, just highlight some things and then describe how we use it and why in SAP Mobility we like it that much and why SAP is generally adopting this whole standard. So number one is it has a schema. A schema is very useful for automated processing of data services, and it's also one RESTful quality. I mean, restfulness is always a matter of degrees, right? There is no binary REST yes or no, but services that are having a schema are generally better to consume with tooling than others. Second thing, also very useful, is that URIs, IDs are actually URIs, even URLs, so you can dereference each single ID of a piece of information to find where it is and to navigate to it. That's very useful as well. Comes in handy when you want to update things and not like hand around base URLs left and right. Another very important RESTful characteristic is that it is not using custom methods or webs or whatever, such as SOAP does for operating on data, but you basically model resources in OData, such as products shown here. And for instance, if I want to get a list of resources, all I do is I issue a GET request. If I want to create a new product, all I issue is a POST request to the very same resource, and so on and so forth. And last but not least, which is a real cool feature, I think, for application developers, is that you can actually run queries, and those work in the exact same way for each OData service. So you are modeling resources, and you can actually run filters on those, which is basically like a database where query. And you can even do all sorts of things like crazy cross joins between data sets and whatnot. So as an application developer, you get a lot of freedom from the actual backend developer. Not like total freedom, but a lot. So why is that important for our mobile stuff? Because our tooling uses this information, for instance, the schema, and generates a bunch of classes for you. So we're generating a strongly typed interface for you, and you don't need to mess with HTTP requests and all that stuff. We give you a proper data model generated from the actual schema of the service. The second thing is, and that's a bit more complicated when we're talking about offline. Offline in SAP Mobility relies strongly on OData, and the reason is just simply how it works. It's got a lot to do with the schema again, because we're essentially generating a database, and I just want to run you real quick through the flow how it works, because it's also, I believe, important to understand how this offline works in order to, well, use it properly. So the data synchronization flow is as follows. First, the client is always defining what data the client needs offline. So as we have seen in the schema snippet before, the OData service is exposing all sorts of different entities. We are only interested in perhaps a subset. So as a client, that's also what we are going to do. We only want to query products. This is what we want to access offline. The rest we don't want to access offline at this point. I mean, you can also take the others offline if you like. In order to do so, you need to issue a defining query. A defining query is essentially a named query, really. So the first parameter is just the name. You can put whatever you like. The second thing is a true OData query. So /products is just going to return all the products from the service. You could also add a filter statement or something in there, as I've shown on the previous slide, well, 2 slides before, actually. So that you can say, maybe I have an entity set that's returning the top selling products or something, or like I can select the top products from sales. Just I order by sales number of items sold, and then I just select the top 10 or something. So I can do all sorts of crazy stuff with that. The second thing is then database is initialized, and how this works is this statement is issued to mobile services, and mobile services will fetch the data from the backend system. And now here is something that I found surprising at first. Mobile services takes this information, pre-builds a database, right? It's not everything is going the full round trip to the client, which then takes it offline, but mobile services is initializing a database. That has some advantages because we can cache those pre-built databases in case you have like large numbers of clients accessing shared data. There is no need in like having 100 round trips for 100 times the very same database, right? So the client then downloads this database, and after opening this one, so that's like a database resource sort of, you need to open access to it, the application would only use that database locally, right? And this is also what gives you a highly enhanced usability usually, because the responsiveness of the UI is just a lot higher. 2 more cool things. What if data changes? Well, this goes both ways. Number 1 is when backend data changes, we need to synchronize back to the client. That is the so-called download operation. The cool thing, what we do is between the client and mobile services, that is always delta queries. The client never retrieves the full data set again, unless he doesn't synchronize for over a month, because in that time frame, everything would change pretty much usually. So if within a week 20 pieces of data change, then only those 20 would ever be fetched by the clients. And this goes both directions, basically. Similarly, there's an upload operation, and when I upload data, then I only take what changed locally on the client and upload it. All right, that's how the offline stuff works, just to give you some context on what you're going to do. Oh, there's the upload. And I hope everyone has the hands-on folder by now. Anyone who doesn't have it? Very good. So on your hands-on folder, you'll find a bunch of things. There is the exercises themselves in 2 flavors. Number 1 is a bunch of PDF documents that I generated for you. As an alternative, there is an online click-through version of the tutorials that you can follow. That's a matter of taste, really, which one you prefer. You can give both a try. And then, of course, next to that is the zip file with the Cloud Platform SDK for Android that we're going to use. So the steps are all described in the PDFs, and for maximum productivity, I would propose you just start now, and I will focus together with my colleagues on supporting you whenever you run into issues or get stuck somewhere. Right? Now I would say, let's start.